So how do you
So then
approach them? How do you approach them if you're approaching a brand?
it really depends. A lot of them are through agencies. A lot of agencies run all the brands. So you reach out to agencies and say, hey, listen, like we've worked in the, I'm very lucky. I've worked with a lot of agencies. So I will reach out to agencies and say, hey, listen, I've got this idea. And then I'm also quite good at networking in terms of if I have worked through an agency, I always make sure I try and meet the brand or at least get their email or speak to them. And a lot, again, if you produce some high quality work for them, a lot of the brands actually reach out individually afterwards or even
Yeah.
during the campaigns to then say, wow, thanks so much. We've loved your work. Like I did a campaign for Nissan cars, never had contact with them. But then during the second campaign that I shot, the content went live. They then messaged me individually from their personal accounts, just saying, wow, thanks so much. Like we absolutely loved this. You did such a great job. Best shots I've ever had. And then I then knew who the head of UK Nissan was. So I was like, okay, amazing. Like if you know what I mean. So then I know who potentially to approach in the future if something else comes up. Same with Vodafone. The Vodafone, I met Vodafone personally now, so I know them. I did a panel talk, and then they messaged me after saying thanks so much on their personal account. So again, it's having that personal relationship. Same thing happened with Samsung. I worked with Samsung on a massive project for the release of the S9, and then really fortunately just met someone from Samsung at the event. Started talking, wasn't really sure who he was. Turned out he was head of PR in the UK. He messaged me afterwards, said, thanks so much, really loved your work. Let's meet up and discuss what else we can do. So again, we met up and then obviously went through the agency for the next project. But again, so it's all about that networking and trying to meet the brand at the actual level that you can and then pitching those ideas afterwards. So whatever idea I have, I'm happy to do it on my own, but if I can get the support of a brand, then great, because then they can fund it. So
and that's what a lot of photographers complain, like the budding ones. They say like you need a contact to get into, and we don't have a contact, but you need to build that network yourself, and that's
exactly. And that comes with time. Like it didn't happen. It didn't happen after my first day of shooting. It didn't happen after my first year of shooting. It happened, and this is after 4 years of like absolute hustling and doing as much as possible and reaching out and networking events and meeting other photographers and meeting other people. And it's also, you meet other people. You go to something else that you think's just an event. Like I went to an event for a launch. It was for Columbia Sportswear. So I was working with Columbia Sportswear. They're a clothing brand. Went there. It wasn't like anything to do with really my work. I mean, I shot the campaign, but again, it wasn't anything to do with photography. Went there, met someone from Red Bull. Red Bull then sponsored one of my next events. So, those things don't necessarily happen where you think, right, I'm going to this event because I'm going to go and meet Red Bull. I went because I was like, well, I'll see who I meet and it'll be fun just to see what the campaign's about. And then suddenly, because of that, I'm then working with Red Bull on a campaign. So like, do you know what I mean? So these things happen from nowhere, and it's all about a time and putting the effort and time in to then get those network in place.
Okay. So like a pro tip that if you get into some events or anything, so how do you start your network? Like one thing is like you can do a podcast like I'm doing with you right now, and I'm building my network. And so now I know you, I have your number, Mike knows Akash, and that's how I'm connected. But if I'm a photographer and if you're getting into an event, one pro tip, like how do you talk to people, or how do you network?
Be approachable. Listen to what people have to say. Listen to who you don't know who anyone is. So it's all about speaking to everyone and just being genuine. Be genuinely excited about anything that person is saying or doing, because it will come across in that way and they'll want to talk to you more.
But do event guys and head talk to you? Like it's usually vice versa. Like they talk less and we need to approach them. I've heard about it this way.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So yeah, when you're going in, but again, it's like, it's a case of just being, I guess it's a case of just being polite and being not, I would never go into a conversation and say, hey, what's up? I'm Mike Will. I have 85,000 followers on Instagram. What do you do? I'd like to, how can you help me? How can I work with you? I'm a pretty big deal. I like photography. I never say what I do or what I say. They might say, what do you do? And I say, I'm a content creator. And then that's it. And then they will then ask you, and then you can find out. And then eventually, if they don't, ask anything further, and you find out who they are, and you find out they're Red Bull, you then say, oh, no way, like I've got this really great idea actually. I'm a content creator and I'm running this event, or I'm going to shoot this campaign, or I've had this idea. Let's exchange emails because it would be great to discuss them. And meeting someone rather than just emailing a random brand is the way to actually like concrete who you are, you know, within them, because otherwise you're just yet another person in the emails. But I guess it's just a case of getting out there as well, not having any fears, not having any worries. When you're out at because there's lots of networking events, there's lots of things. You can find out about these online as well. So it's going to the events and going to meet other people. It's just meeting as many people as you can. And it's hard. Like sometimes people aren't, you know, that sociable and don't have the social interaction that you necessarily would need. But it's about getting out of your comfort zone and trying to just do it. And as you said, like once you have one contact, you know, that will lead to several more. And these contacts, as I said, like aren't necessarily going to happen when you think. They could just happen when you're at a local park and you're walking your dog and suddenly you get chatting to someone else who's got the same dog as you. And they, you know, it turns out they work for Microsoft and you're like, oh my God, that's mad. Like I'm a content creator. And then they go, oh, that's cool. All right, well, I'll put you in contact with our marketing team or whatever it might be. And that's how, you know, again, like that's how things can happen. So don't ever think that there's never a time to network, because I network 24 hours a day.